Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of Biking and Blabbing. It's been 5 months since the last Biking and Blabbing episode, and lots happened in 5 months. 5 months ago, obviously, you know who didn't have COVID. Boy, I just want to say, what a fun week that was. You got the debate, then we got Trump with COVID, and then we got the season 46 premiere of SNL, and it combined both of them beautifully. And then last week they continued it by doing the Oprah Winfrey COVID Get Out. You know, if somebody says in 20 years' time, what was your favorite part of the Trump administration? I'm going to say when he got COVID, because that was hysterical. I'm sorry, I know I'm evil, and I'm probably going to go to hell for that. But it was funny as hell. Barron, not so much. But him, oh God. That was like a walk in the park. Hysterical. Anyways, so yeah, in the not so good news, I had a friend pass away, and just kind of writing some memories I had of him on Facebook. I still got some more to go, and then had another friend unfortunately get COVID, but he's all right now. Spent about 5 days in the hospital, but he's doing better. He doesn't deserve to get it like Trumpy Bear, but yeah. So sorry it's been 5 months, everybody. I was doing other stuff, like I was doing this thing called Mike's Messy Masterpieces on Meet Me, but that just, I get tired of doing. Well, I stopped doing it because I wanted to improve my sketching skills before I continued. And I also stopped because of other things like I just got tired of the negativity. Granted, early on I was sort of contributing to that a lot, but when I started streaming, it was a different story. You know, just it's a weird application because it could be more than what it is, and it's actually not going to become more than what it is. So, it was fun. I made like 2,000 diamonds. It only takes 20,000 to cash, or no, 80,000 to cash out for a lousy $200. So it doesn't add up so well scale-wise. Every time I do these, it's like it's always kind of threatening to rain in the background. But I do them anyways, because I don't care. So that was that, and then I want to tell you this drama. So, I haven't been back on my bike since May though, which is why it's taken 5 months. I got flat tires and I have this crappy bicycle pump, and the bike pump is not going away anytime soon. I was like, well, if I'm gonna pump my tires, I want a better bike pump. So I just left my tires up pumped for 5 months. And then when I saw, I could do more biking and blabbing, and I was like, I should do more biking and blabbing episodes. So at that point, I was like, well, fuck it, I'm gonna pump my tires. It took me 5 months to really decide, to realize, there's biking and blabbing. But it is what it is. And I hope y'all are understanding and forgiving those 2 subscribers that I have. So let me know what's been going on with you when you get a chance. So let me tell you the whole story about this. So I did the tire pumping today, and one of the reasons I hate this bike pump is because it doesn't stay in the nozzle. There's like 3 reasons I hate it. One is it doesn't stay in the nozzle. The other one is that when it goes in the nozzle, it doesn't go in all the way, so you're like pushing down, but the handle goes. So anyways, you know what? I'm going to leave that in just for funsies because it was an exciting thing to watch happen. Watch the phone fall off the bike. That's a part of the excitement of the YouTube video. If I edit that out, why would I ever do that? That's such a terrible idea to edit it out. And the video kept playing. And I'm just going to keep going. I'm going to try and do that again but not hit the pothole. So, let's try that again, folks. Maybe not. Okay. We're gonna dance with death here, guys. There we go. Okay, so anyways. Back to the biking story, the tire story. So I was doing tires, right? And so there's 3 problems with the pump. One of them is that it takes forever for the nozzle to go in, or the hole to go into the nozzle. Actually, there's actually 4 problems. So it takes a bit to get the hole into the nozzle, right? So you put it in, you're like, okay, it's in. Then if you just hear air come out, you're like, no, it's not in. And then I push it in further. Now what happens is it pushes the bicycle nozzle into itself, so then I have to pull the bicycle nozzle out. So then I finally get it, right? I finally get it to where it needs to be. And it just it won't go all the way down. And for like the longest time, I thought, oh, it's not supposed to go all the way down. That's fine, it's still pumping air. But then it would never pump air. So then I was like, well, what the hell? So then I finally got to a point where I still don't know if it's because I pushed it up or whatever, where it goes in all the way and it actually pumps the tires. And so it's like this whole annoyance with it. Just tired. I just want a thing that goes in, does what it's supposed to, isn't hinky. Oh, and also I don't have to freaking pogo stick when I inflate the tires, which is what I have to do now. I have to stand on the pump and go up and down and up and down and up and down and up and down. Then when I get a better pump, I won't have 5 months in between videos. So while doing that today, because there's more of this story, while doing that today, there's little caps in the nozzle so the air stays in the tire. My caps are black, and I did something really stupid, which was I put it on a black grill. I thought I put it on the gray part of the black grill, but still. I put it on the grill, and I lost it for maybe 20 minutes, half an hour. Couldn't find it. And I was like, well, and at that point, I don't even think the tire was pumped good enough, but it's like, I can't do anything without this cap. I have to have the cap. I have to know where the cap is, because if the tire's pumped, I can't just leave the pump in the tire and then go find the nozzle. Gotta have the nozzle nearby. So I thought I put it on this gray kind of counter that's attached to the grill. I didn't do that. Instead, well, what happened was it rolled into this like little crevice area, and that blends in because it's black. and I managed to find it, but it took me 20 minutes. I thought I left it on the ground, and then I thought, oh, I put it on this white table. But then once I found it, I put it on the white table, and then I put the other nozzles for the front wheel, the back wheel first, on the white table. So I think at some point I'm gonna dye my caps. So yeah, that was that experience. Just more ridiculous, you know. I kept having somebody, you want help? You want me to help you? No, go away. You know, it's like. So I think one day I'm gonna like recycle the bike pump, and when I get a new one, I'm gonna be rejoicing everywhere. You know, I don't care if it, you know, if it takes $60 to get a good bike pump, which I know it really doesn't, but if it does, screw it. You know, I'm at this point where it's like this biking hobby. I don't really want to call it a hobby. It's not a hobby. It's more than exercise. You know, I use it as transportation. You know, this cycling that I do and have done in the past, you know, I'm so serious about it that I'm at a point now where I need to put good money into it, you know, get good lights, a good pump. Bike's fine. I do need to, my chain was rusted today, so thankfully I had WD-40 for that. You know, a good place to store it, which I know I'd have to move in order for that to happen. But just good everything, you know, just solid stuff. Because I make these videos, but you know, I do so much more with this bike than make videos. Obviously, when I'm making the videos, I just go around the neighborhood because I can't be up and down highways and byways making a video. Because I will die. I will get killed. And you don't want that. So, I don't want that. Let alone what you want. I don't want to die. So, yeah. It keeps me going. It keeps me motivated. It keeps me independent. It really... It's a lot more important to me than a lot of people, I think, give it credit for. You know. Since I can't drive. Which really kind of the driving thing frustrates me, but you know, the fact that I see this as a way out, and a lot of people don't give it the oomph and respect it deserves for my way out. Some people do. Some people get it. They're like, oh, that's a big deal, you know. I wish everyone did. I wish everyone was like, this is a big deal. You know, him using the bicycle. But, all in good time. Well, this really kind of turned into, Oop! Almost fell again. This really kind of turned into an interesting episode. But what I did want to talk about, actually, on a different topic, that's moving off of the biking topic, was the World Stage last night, which is an MTV series. Had Muse on. It's Muse, M-U-S-E, ladies and gentlemen. And they're an English band, for those who are unfamiliar with them. Now, I want to explain to you how unfamiliar I was with them. I really liked them when I was in middle school. Haven't listened to them since middle school, which is like, God, over 10 years ago now. Because that's when their big hits were coming out. That's when they got Supermassive Black Hole in the Twilight movies, was when I was in 8th grade. So they were on the World Stage last night, which is like this concert series thing where they take videos at festivals and they video the performance at a festival. So these guys were headlining a rock festival in Germany. And they did a bio on them at the beginning. They're like, oh, they formed in 1994. And they're a trio. Now, you would think, well, you asked me, I was like, I could tell you last night, they're an English band, and they kind of got like a bit of a U2 element to them, and they're a bit, you know, they're really interesting. And I really like them. But what I couldn't tell you was that they were a trio. I would have told you they're a quartet. I was really surprised. I was like, they're a trio? I thought they were a quartet. Well, they're a trio, ladies and gentlemen. I should know that. I'm a bad fan. I mostly just wanted to tell you this story to tell you what a bad fan I am. So, oh, that's the other thing. So, I went to Bonnaroo back in 2016. Or not 2017. And in 2018, they had Muse play, and that was like the only band in 2018 I actually wanted to see there at Bonnaroo that year. And that was like, okay, I'd go to Bonnaroo just to see Muse. But we didn't go to Bonnaroo. But they were somebody on the lineup. I was like, oh, Muse is playing. It was like Muse and it was Eminem was the top of the bill. And I was like, I have no interest in seeing Eminem. There's a car behind me. Wave to him, hello. I'm not like, I'm making a video, sorry guys. So they were at Bonnaroo, and I didn't go see him. And it would have been great to see him at Bonnaroo, because they would have the big stage, and they would have really rocked it. But last night, they were killer. They did all the stuff I remember from 11 years ago, except for Supermassive Black Hole. That was like the only thing they didn't do that I remember from 11 years ago. I also, some of the stuff they did 11 years ago I wasn't that crazy with, and now I really like it. And I think that has a lot to do with me being a David Bowie fan, and my musical taste growing over time, because it sort of helps you appreciate artists more that you like, and it also helps you, you know, it helps you like other artists. Somebody said name acts that you don't like, name 3 acts you don't like. One of my Facebook friends put out this poll that was like, okay, name 3 bands you can't stand or don't get. Not can't stand. Name 3 bands you don't understand. So they put out there 3 bands. One of them was Coldplay, which I was like, oh, come on, Coldplay's great. And I forget what the other 2 were, but they were. But somebody was like, I don't get any jam bands, I don't get any modern rock and roll, I don't get the Stones or the Beatles. And it was really interesting. Like, there's one person that just couldn't handle all the criticism within the post. It wasn't really criticism, it was more, you know, couldn't handle all the opinions. Thought all the opinions were negative. But one of the things I pointed out, the reason I'm bringing this up, is that I gave my 3, which I know one of them was Widespread Panic. Oh, by the way, one of my jokes today was that my tires were flatter than John Bell's singing ability. But anyways, earlier today they were. But anyways, I know one of my 3 was Widespread Panic. I can't remember what the other 2 were. But I pointed out to somebody that certain artists take time. Sometimes the best artists take the most time, you know. And I pointed out to her, like, I saw Willie Nelson back in 2013. And I thought he was shit. I was like, this guy's huge. Why? He's a shit performer. You know, this is you know, he has no sense of time. Of course, I didn't really take into account age very much. I was just like, this guy's huge for what? You know, it's like that sort of thing where you take one performance and you look at somebody and you're like, I don't get why they're famous. Which I now know that's the wrong way to do something. You know, I don't, you know, it's like, it's my ability, other than hip-hop and other than EDM, but anybody that plays a real instrument or sings, it's my ability to understand why are these people famous. You know, that's kind of a goal of mine. It's like, okay, like while in quarantine, I got why Fish is big. I get it. It took me a long time, but I get it. And it took me looking at early stuff, which is kind of what happened with Willie. It's like it took me, you know, to hear his early stuff and go, okay, I understand why this guy's huge. Because I remember my review of that show when I was, my initial thoughts on that show was like, you guys like, this guy is huge. Like, yeah, Michael, this is Willie Nelson. Like, he's the biggest thing. He's one of the biggest things in country music. I'm like, he's shit. And then what made it even better was that of course, I've changed my mind now. But what made it even better at the time was I was at like a late night thing after, and a musician I really admire, she didn't like it either, so I was very happy about that. I was like, yay, I'm not the only person that thinks this is crap. It's like somebody that's a professional musician. It's just like, that was awful. So, but he had his big Texas flag, and I mean, the place I've never seen. I mean, I've seen that park crowded where I saw him, but that was ridiculous, because there's a festival I go to in the fall, which I would actually be at this weekend, and not been for stupid COVID and Trumpy Bear fucking everybody's lives up. He's ruining all of our lives. He's ruining everybody's lives and eating all of our steak, ladies and gentlemen, if you don't mind me saying. He's just like Uncle Rico. So, his grandmother just called from her grave and said, you gotta retire from the White House because you've been ruining everybody's lives and eating all of their steak. So, but he's not gonna listen to his grandmother. She's dead in the ground. She's dead in the ground. She's dead in the ground. Just like the Harry Truman song from Bob's Burgers. So, anyways, back to Willie Nelson, not Donald Trump. So Nelson played, and he has the Texas flag, but it's a bunch of stuff there before, and on that, in that area, and I don't think I'd seen anything. I don't think I'd seen that particular festival that packed, ever. It was like everybody and their brother was there to watch Willie Nelson. And I will say though, one of the redeeming qualities about the show was his sister who plays piano with him. She's a fantastic piano player. Poor girl though, she's trying to keep up with her brother, and it's just like, he's just going way too fast. You got the band that's playing on one tempo, and you got Willie that's just going at his own tempo, which is 90 miles an hour faster than everybody else's. And then he's like, take it, little sister, and she's like, yeah, she's playing like the world's fastest solo. And she's like, oh shit, it's my turn to play. So, to take a solo. But she's a really talented pianist, I found. She was the redeeming quality of the show. So it's all Willie. And so the point of me talking about Willie was that post that my friend posted about what bands don't you understand. I explained to the woman who didn't understand any jam band or anything about anything involving the Beatles that there's a lot of artists that take a lot of time to get used to. And I mentioned Willie Nelson as an example. I said I saw this guy back in 2013. I thought he was shit, and I thought, this guy has no place in the music business. Why is he here? And then they had I think he won the Gershwin Prize for Popular Song. So he won the Gershwin Prize, and I heard Nightlife, and I was like, okay, this guy's got some real potential. He was on Austin City Limits, and I still was kind of like, later on that year, and I was kind of like, eh. Or maybe not later on. He maybe had recorded the episode before he came to our festival. But the fact of the matter is, I wasn't that impressed with his Austin City Limits episode. But when I saw him on the Gershwin Prize thing, I was like, okay, this guy's got some potential. He really belongs in country music. And I saw him on Hee Haw last weekend, and I thought the same thing. I thought, okay, I get it. I understand why Willie is Willie, and I understand why he's huge. You know, and there's a lot of people that hear the story, you should have known right then and there that he was, you know, why he was so popular. I'm not judging it based on what everybody else thinks. I'm looking at it in the moment going, okay, like I saw Paul McCartney, you know, I've seen bigger acts, and in the moment, those acts really hold their shit together and really, really put out a great show. You know, like I saw U2 at Bonnaroo, they showed why they're goddamn U2. Saw Paul McCartney, he showed why I'm goddamn Paul McCartney. But I will say, those are semi-bad examples because I had been listening to both Paul McCartney and U2's music before I went to see them. It's a different story if you listen to the music ahead of time. And by ahead of time, I don't mean like, oh, I'm going to see him at Bonnaroo, let me listen to all the albums before I go to Bonnaroo. I mean like years, or a few years or lots of years before you actually see them. Because then you understand their place in musical history. And when I say listen to music, I mean listen to the albums from front. I don't mean this shit where you listen to the singles. You know, I mean like listen to an album from front to back and listen to all eras of their career. You know, for Paul McCartney, don't just listen to the Beatles. You know, for U2, don't just listen to Boy and the Joshua Tree. You know, give Experience and Innocence a listen. And, you know, the same, I would say the same for Willie, you know. Give all the, you know, give his Gershwin album a listen, but then give his earlier stuff a listen, you know. That's being fair to the musician. You know. This crap where people, you know, this is the one thing I don't like in the era of Spotify and Pandora, especially Pandora. You know, Pandora is a radio element, has a radio element to what it does, but you cannot and should not use Pandora to understand an artist for who they are. Because it's not going to play you a full album. Spotify will do it, but you got to damn well want to listen to the whole album from front to back, and you should. If you're a fan. You know, same thing with bands like Fish or the Grateful Dead that are known for their shows. If you're a fan of those musicians, listen to a full show. Take 3 hours out of your night. Don't press pause, except on set break. You know, or unless you got to get a water. But don't sit there and take 20 minutes on pause, go watch a TV show, and then forget about it. Like, sit there and actually listen to the whole show from front to back. Give everybody a fair chance. You know, unless you despise a certain genre of music, like I do with hip-hop and EDM, give all the musicians a fair shot. You don't have to like somebody. You know, there's bands I'm not a White Stripes Panic fan, but believe me, I gave them plenty of chances. I gave them 9 hours. That is more than enough time. 9 hours is plenty of time. 9 hours to do their thing. And he disappointed every single one of those hours. This is a 9 in American Sign Language for those who don't know that. So, you know, just keep that. Don't do this, and don't use the modern times as an excuse for why you don't listen to albums anymore. That is BS. Let me tell you what, folks. Well, this kind of turned. So yeah, so that's sorry. I got off on another. I thought I was done, but I wasn't. I guess I don't know. Yeah, just don't do that, because you know, like artists that are out now. You know, I listened to the last album I listened to was Casey Musgraves' Golden Hour, which is a really interesting album. There's a reason it's critically acclaimed, because it's a country album that still sounds country, by the way, folks. It's got banjo and guitar, but then it's got like a little bit of an EDM element to it, which I think is really interesting, mixing those two genres. But she doesn't overmix it. It's just for Oh What a World. And yeah, it's just really kind of a bold choice on her part to do that. I will say that, you know, John Prine really commending her for being the, you know, for being the, for, you know, for her talent, kind of helps me in liking her as a musician, or as an artist, because I was kind of ashamed to be a Casey Musgraves fan. It's like, I don't care anymore. You know, there's something about her I like, you know. She has something that's different. It's not, you know, she's authentically writing, which is what you should be doing in country music, not writing about fishing and Jesus. And not everything is about fishing and Jesus and booze and trucking, you know. Some things can be, but not everything. Now, if you're a Christian artist, you're not a country artist. That's different. But, yeah. Just keep that in mind, that there's other things in the world besides, when it comes to country, besides booze, trucking, fishing, and Jesus. I know the Christians are going to say otherwise, but it's true. The Christians are going to say all there is in the world. Some Christians might say that all there is in the world is trucking and fishing and Jesus. There's no drinking. Believe me, folks, there's drinking in this world. So yeah, so that's the but I listened to it and I listened to it on Spotify, and it was. I made sure I started at track 1. I knew. Granted, I knew track 1. Track 1 is slow burn, but start at the beginning. Don't just start with a hit song. Now, if you listen to, now what I have done is once I've listened to the album in its entirety, I will bounce around. I think it's especially important if you're doing live albums. Do the same thing, but if you really want to bounce around, just bounce around on a live album. Do not bounce around, even though there's still construction in that. Do not bounce around on a studio album. It's not fair to the artist. I don't care what the single is. Don't do it. So yeah, I guess that's my little music rant. I'm glad this turned into a musical biking and blabbing episode, besides all the biking stuff that came first. I guess it really was biking and blabbing, since I had a bunch of biking stuff to tell and talk about. But I guess I'll see you all in the next episode. This is episode 7, by the way. This is 7 in American Sign Language. And I can't believe that. 7's an unlucky number, so maybe this will be a unlucky episode. I've already said some unlucky things anyways. I know there's a few things in here that'll bound to piss somebody off. But until next time, goodbye all. Cycling Mike here saying goodbye.